so much ass. So I was flattered, but I said, no, I've never been here. And he says, no, you're lying to me because I know you were here because the last time I saw you here was a Tuesday, and I know it was a Tuesday because I got the clap. So my first thought was, why would he tell a complete stranger that you got the clap? But then more importantly, why would you come back to the place where you got the clap at? It's not like you went to Mexico on vacation and you drank the water and you got a stomach ache and you're like, man, I hate Mexico. I got the worst stomach ache ever. But I'm going to go back because there's nice beaches, you know, it's really nice. If you get the clap somewhere, you should never, ever go back. Why would you go back? Terrible. Anyway, so I'm trying to get used to LA. You know, I've only been here for 2 weeks. I moved out here with a roommate. And we decided we have to furnish our apartment, right? Because you don't want to live in a place with no furniture, because that's just creepy, unless you're a rapist, and then it's cool, because you do whatever you want. So we went to IKEA, because IKEA is this magical place where you can get this cool, modern-looking furniture for real cheap, right? The only drawback to IKEA is it takes a fucking rocket scientist to figure out how to put together a dresser. So I'm walking around IKEA, and my roommate doesn't tell me that she's interested in looking for a mattress. So I'm walking around, minding my own business. I'm in this section where there's all couches, there's people hanging out. And then I turn my head and she's gone. And I look and I'm in a section where there's no people. So there's just couches. So I'm looking around, I start to like panic, you know. So I follow like the yellow brick road in IKEA and I'm walking around like this. And I get to the kitchen section and there's an Asian family practicing dinner in a fake kitchen. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a nightmare. So I leave the kitchen section, and I get to where the dressers are. And there's a baby crawling across the countertop by itself, and it's just staring at me like this. So for a long second, I didn't know if I had blacked out or I was in Inception. Because IKEA is like the background for your nightmares. It's terrifying. Because one minute there's people offering you meatballs, and the next minute there's cardboard boxes and there's forklifts and there's people laughing with mustache. It's crazy. So we get a dresser and we go back to our place. So, you know, I was excited. I'm like, yes, I'm going to have some furniture. This will be cool. We can have people over. And I open up the manual and I realized something. I think that the Swedish people who invented all the dressers and things in IKEA, they wrote the manual knowing that someone like me would be drinking while trying to put this together. Because all the diagrams are the most crazy, ridiculous scenarios of all time. So the first diagram is like, here's this Monopoly piece that you're supposed to put together this entire dresser with. It's a thimble, but doesn't matter. You have 100,000 screws, so you'll be good. So you're trying to put this thing together, and you look at the first piece of the directions, right? The diagram where it's like 1A, and it's just two Swedish guys hanging out, putting the dresser together, because it says you need 2 people. So you get to the first step, and you're excited. You're like, all right, I got past the first step. And then the second step, all of a sudden the Swedish people are like, they're drinking together and high-fiving. And then on the other page, adjacent to that, is like a big X. Like, if you've done this, you're retarded. So you flip to the third page, and then they're like double Dutch jump roping. It's the craziest scenario ever. They go from making it seem like, you know what, if you're a college graduate, this shouldn't be a problem, to you now need to know how to double Dutch jump rope and figure out how to put the dresser together. So, if it wasn't for my roommate, I'd probably still be living like a caveman because I gave up after the third step and she figured it out. So that's the benefit of living with a smart person. Another benefit of trying to get used to LA is going out places, right? So we went out, my roommate had a friend who was having a birthday, so she's like, come out, we'll have a good time, you'll meet people. So I'm like, okay. So we go out, and on the East Coast, where I'm from, a lot of bars don't have dance floors. It's just a bar, you know? And out here I've noticed there's dance floor and a bar. And I thought of something that women don't realize. If you go to a club like that and you see a good-looking woman, you're thinking, hey, I'm going to talk to her, I'm going to hit on her and see what she's all about. You have to dance up to her, right? So you're dancing, everyone's dancing. It's not weird, right? Everyone's dancing. This is the worst part. So let's say you go up to the girl, right? And you're like, oh, I love this song. And she's like, yeah, great song. And then you're like, yeah, I loved it when they played it at my bar mitzvah. And then she's like, you're a creep. Get away from me. You can't just walk away. And you can't just stand there, because then you're the creepy guy who stands there. You have to dance away from them. There's nothing more embarrassing than having to dance away from somebody who just rejected you. You're like, yeah, just got rejected and trying to make this look legit. And you have to dance away, and then you start doing spin moves, and it just gets weird. But yeah, I'm getting used to my surroundings. I found a new dry cleaner. So I went in there, right? And I'm like, oh, you know, are my clothes ready? And she said, no, they're not ready yet, but why don't we talk for a few minutes until your clothes are ready? So I'm like, oh, okay. So she says, where are you from? So I said, New Jersey. And to be nice, I said, where are you from? So she said, I'm from Iraq. What do you say after that? What are you supposed to... Oh, yeah, I heard it's lovely this time of year. Actually, my family was murdered. So, you know, it was quiet for about a minute, and then she's like, what are you trying to do out here? I said, you know, I'm trying to be a writer, maybe do some comedy. So she says, oh, that's great. Do you have headshots? And I said, yeah, I have headshots. She said, bring them in. And she rips someone else's headshot off the wall and says, I'll put you next to my favorite client. So I look, and it's Magic Johnson. And it's like a legit photo of Magic Johnson. It's not something like she could have just printed off the internet. It's like, signed to her, thank you for handling my clothes and not getting AIDS for me. And then I left thinking, like, what a bitch. Because she put so much pressure on me. Because you know when someone goes into the laundromat, they're not going to say, oh my God, Magic Johnson's her client. They're going to say, who the fuck is that next to Magic Johnson? They're going to Google me and I've done nothing and then I'm going to feel terrible about myself. Thank you guys.
All right.
Give it up for Ben. Or are you doing 5 or 10? That was 8.5. All right, give it up for Ben.
All right, Ben.
Yikes. I didn't want to be a dick in case he was doing 10.
I meant 10.
Yeah. Wrong answer. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Fuck it. We're having fun. Okay. The next comic coming to the stage, guys. We only got a few left. You guys have been